Close to 16,000 pupils were still waiting to be placed in schools in Gauteng when schools opened this week. The Department of Basic Education says late admissions remain a big issue. Gauteng Department of Education spokesperson Steve Mabona joining us from our Durban studio this morning. Steve, a very good morning to you. Where are we with the placement of these close to 16,000 pupils?
Thank you very much, Uveka. The numbers are going down, but steadily so, because we expect parents to take the documentation to different schools. The cooperation that we are receiving, it's encouraging, but we encourage them to, continue to support us, because without those documents, it will be difficult, Uveka, to place those learners, because we need that documentation to verify who are these children, because you can't place people that you don't know. So that's why we say most of them, they really need to support and take those documents. But there are those that we have offered some space, but the challenge is that they don't want the space because of preference. Some, it's an issue of a distance. We are challenged in the area of Tshwane, in the Pretoria West, to be specific, because of the area being popular in terms of the interest of some of the township, wanting to access the school in those areas, and it's a really serious challenge for us.
Steve, where are we finding the majority of these unplaced pupils? Are we looking at the grade 1s? Are we looking at the grade 8s? Where are the numbers bigger?
No, it is a split of 60-40. The majority will be your grade 8, and then you have your grade 1. But the emphasis is on submission of those documents, because once we have that, we will be in a position to know that the remaining figure probably it will be those that are saying, I don't really prefer this school, I prefer the other, so that we can see on how we can assist them. But we know that probably some of them, they might have opted for independent schools or private schools, so hence it's important for us to say, if they don't submit these documents, at some point we'll have to take a decision to take them out of our system. But we are saying all those that are still waiting, we have assured them that by the end of January we should be in a position to say all learners are placed, and we continue with the process of teaching and learning. And the MEC has confirmed that in terms of your curriculum, they're not going to be left behind that much. We have a strategy on how we're going to be managing that, but just want parents to be patient a bit. We understand it's quite frustrating, and we have apologized for the inconvenience, but cooperation is also important, really.
So, Steve, what about catching up on work miss? Because, like you say, a lot of these are grade 8 pupils. They will have to hit the ground running when it gets to high school. There might not be that much panic surrounding the grade 1s, but what plans are you making, or what are you urging schools to do for especially those in grade 8 who are going to high school that would have missed, if you say the end of January is your cutoff, they would have missed at least 2 weeks?
Look, because of the online registration, we could know in October already that we're going to have a challenge, because you look at the response that is coming from the public, you anticipate that the number that you have might take you to late registration. Now, when you go to late registration and it's closer to the end of the 4th term, you will know that most of parents will just apply and go on holiday, and they will want to continue with the process when they come back. There was an indication that we're going to probably have a challenge. Then you start to plan. That's why we're saying online registration, actually, it's revolution to us, because you plan, in terms of your quantity, because it's more about numbers in education. You plan, your learner material, how many textbooks you're taking where, stationery, look at the furniture for those schools that have already ordered furniture. So you are in a position to can plan. So at that time, we knew that we're going to have a number of them, because there was pressure actually coming from the parents, those that did not apply at all, to say, when are you opening the late registration? And by that time, you will then understand that you need to plan ahead on how are you going to manage to recover in terms of your curriculum, because you know that there's an interest of those that want to access education.
So
in Gauteng.
teachers have planned for this
in
already?
January, when we open, definitely we plan remember last year we were sitting at about 24 or over 24,000. By mid-February we had to finalize the process of placing them. So this time it's a lesser figure than what we had last year. So we should be in a position to can place all the learners by the end of January. But in terms of the catching up program, it will be implemented because the plan is there already. And there's about over 7,000 of new applications. And parents who just came now in January to say we need space at different schools. So we also need to accommodate those because we can't say no to them. Unfortunately, in other schools, we'll have to have overcrowd those schools because of that interest. But we are planning ahead to make sure that at least in future, if parents can cooperate with us, we will be in a position to can plan ahead.
Okay, so till the end of January, that's your deadline. Thanks very much. We'll continue to get updates from you. Gauteng Department of Education spokesperson Steve Mabona in Durban. They will still to